all you lovely people out there in lockdown land and beyond. Welcome along to our tutorial for the Beatles song Lady Madonna. Now, Billboard magazine rated this at number 86 in the top 100 Beatles songs. But to my mind, it should be a little bit higher than that. It was written in 1968. It's credited obviously to Lennon and McCartney, as they all are, but it was mainly Paul. John contributed a little bit to the lyrics, but it was a Paul McCartney song, and you can hear that. The opening piano riff is based on a record called Bad Penny Blues, which was released in 1956 by Humphrey Lyttelton and his band, produced by George Martin with significant input from the late great Joe Meek. So if you don't know Bad Penny Blues, I urge you to find it on YouTube, have a listen to it, and you will hear how that piano riff definitely influenced what Paul McCartney did at the beginning of Lady Madonna. One or two other little points of interest about this song. On the original record, the tenor sax part was played by the wonderful saxophonist and club owner Ronnie Scott, because he happened to be there at the time. Some music critics seem to think that Ringo took the lead vocals on this, but he didn't. It was Paul who modified the recording of his voice slightly to give it a sound more, as he said, more like Elvis. Well, that you pays your money, you takes your choice. If you want to play the opening riff, then you'll need a low G, because this is in the key of A major, and the song has similarities with last week's tutorial, which was the Neil Sedaka song Laughter in the Rain, because this song is also in the key of A major with a refrain transposing or modulating into the key of C major. Exactly the same, and you'll see that there are one or two other parallels as we go along through. Right, that's enough talking. Let's have a little look at some playing. Now, the introductory riff is exactly the same chord progression for the verse, both lines. So if you can play the intro, you can play the verse. And it's pretty simple, really. But a lot of the club songbooks don't get it quite right. There's a surprise. Anyway, it starts on A. So if you're bashing away at the chords on this, and that's a very necessary part of playing it, it's simply a couple of beats on A, a couple of beats on D, repeated. So let's talk about the beat. So we're going to look at 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it's very much on the beat. There's not a lot of syncopation going on here, and the emphasis is very much on the third beat of the bar rather than the first. So it's sort of 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So that's the feel of it, that driving, almost a train. It's a real rock and roll beat. So we've got a few bars of alternating A and D, and then we get to the end of that little riff, and there's a rogue F chord in there. And a rogue G chord in there, which is what a lot of the club songbooks forget. They'll put the F in, sorry about that, but they'll forget about the G. And they usually forget about the A that precedes the F. A lot of people will just play the A, D, but it ain't like that. It's not so easy. It's so it's that little G and the A before the F that catches a lot of people out. Let's do that again, shall we?
Okay.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and bum, bum, ba, da, 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 da. So you've just got sort of the single beat or the 2 half beats on each of those. Okay, that's the chord backing that's going to go with the the melody riff. If you want to do that, you'll need a low G on your ukulele. I'm using my Kala low G here because it starts on the A note, which is the G string fretted at 2. So we're going there. And where you're playing the A chord, you're starting on the A note for the riff, the tune. I'll just go through it once for you and then we'll break it down. It goes. Yeah. Let's do that again. Repeat it. So that starts on the A note, and then we've got the C string open, and then sharpen that C by fretting the first fret of the C note, which gives you your A chord. Then we're bringing the D note in, so that's the second fret on the C string, and then we have the F sharp, which is the second fret of the E string. Now you see what's happened there. I've made a D chord. So that's exactly how it works. So we're starting with an A, going to the D chord. Sorry. And then we just go into a straight run up the scale, starting on the A note, A, C, C sharp, and then we get a D, E, F, G, A. So that's D, second fret C string, open E string, first fret E string for the F note, third fret E string for the G note, and then open A. So you put all that together and we get and that's the intro, and that's what happens a couple of times during the song as well, just a kind of an instrumental one-line turnaround, which pops up here and there. So it's okay. Once you do that, you can do the verse, because the verse is exactly that same chord progression repeated. Shall we do the verse?
Yeah.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Lady Madonna, children at your feet, wonders how you manage to make ends meet. Who finds the money when you pay the rent? Did you think that money was heaven sent? Now that's nothing difficult in there at all. Then we get to the refrain, which is the Friday night arrives without a suitcase bit. Now, what you'll hear on the record is D minor 7th. But as I've pointed out on several occasions, where a song sheet calls for the 7th or the minor 7th, you can always play the root chord, major or minor. In this case, you can play a D7th by all means, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you can also play a plain D minor. And you'll see how that works a little bit later. But it's a D minor 7th on 4 beats of that, so it's all, until you get to the end of the refrain, it's 4 beats all the way through. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, G7, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, A minor, 2, 3, D minor 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, G7, 3, 4, and then we get to right to the very end, and we've got 2 beats on a C chord, C, 2 beats on a D chord, D major, how they and then we come to something that we looked at last week in Laughter in the Rain, E7th with a suspended 4th, resolving to an E7th. Okay, so now from the D, all we need to do is move your, either if you're playing D with those 3 fingers, move your ring finger. If you're playing D with 2, 3 and 4, move your little finger across one string. So instead of 2, 2, 2, 0, you end up with 2, 2, 0, 2, like that. And there is your E7 with the suspended 4th. And to resolve that to the E7th, you just put your index finger down on the 1st fret of the G string and lift your middle finger off. And then that we're going back into an A. So if we put all those together, we get this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Monday night arrives without a suitcase. Monday morning creeping like a nun. Monday's trousers learn to tie his bootlace. C, D, E7 suspended, D7, lady, and then we're back into the verse. So it's actually fairly straightforward, but it's good fun to play. I like playing this song. Unfortunately, it's not in a brilliant singing key for me, but we'll leave it in this key because it works so well on the uke. Right, and after we get to Lady Madonna, Baby at Your Breast, wonder how you manage to feed the rest. Then we get into an instrumental where Ronnie Scott's tenor sax would come into play. And we're doing the opening introduction riff, the 8 bars of the intro. Play the melody if you like, or play the chords if you like. Up to you. And then we get into that little sort of instrumental break, the ba-ba-ba bit, which apparently was created by the remaining 3 Beatles, imitating brass instruments as if it were a brass instrumental, but the saxophone is hovering underneath that. So, but what we get, the effect of it, is that. Now, if you prefer to play that little melody on your uke rather than trying to sing it falsetto and failing like I do, then it's not difficult. But you drop the 7th on the D minor, so you play the plain D minor because that gives you the A note on the A string open. So we get that. Now, following that, rather than a G7th, you need a G with an added 9th, because the melody is doing. So we've got that D minor there, we've got the F, 1st fret of the G of the E string, and then you just drop your little finger in on the 3rd fret of the E string for the G note, but you then need the A note again. So you can't play a G7 because you're doing that. So the way that what seems to work best is a G with an added 9th, which is 0, 2, 3, 0. So you're getting that A note back again. So what we get is. And then the next chord following that is a C. If you play the C as a C5 with 0, 0, 3, 3, then you've got the G note there on the E string. Bum, 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 bum. Just lift it off and back on it. And then we're going to an A minor. But if you leave your ring finger down on the 3rd fret of the A string, you're getting the C note there, and which you can then and that gives you that little ba, 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 ba. And then repeat. And then plain C, because you need that E note, how they'll E a D chord, and then the E7 suspended 4 resolving to the E7 again. So that little ba 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 bit, if you just play the chords on it, Pam, goes like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And just a little point on the lyric, it's not see how they run, it's see how they'll run. And again, something that a lot of club songbooks don't get quite right, but it's see how they'll run. And if you listen to the recording, then you can hear that that's actually what it is. Right, that's it actually. Everything else that comes after that is a repeat of what's gone before. So if you're okay up to that point, then you're okay right the way through the song, except the little coda, which has a little surprise in it. It's just 4 bars. You think no problem there, but as I say, there's a little surprise thrown in there because the coda has 1 bar of A, 1 bar of B minor 7th, 2 2 2 2. Now here we go. A C diminished for 2 beats. The B minor 7th for 1 beat, and then back to the A. So you've got some quick chord changes in there that you might need to work at. I know I did. So, but when you play that all together and you repeat that those 4 bars. So we get 1 and 2, B minor 7th, and again, bum, bum. And at speed, it goes 1 2 3 4. Starting on the A, love.
Yeah, I did. You did.
Right. Sorry, my bad. 1 2 3 4. So that's the little coda at the end of Lady Madonna, and to say that C diminished 2323 is say a little surprise in the coda. Well, that's it.
Yeah.
Really. Just bear in mind that driving rhythm never varies throughout. This one is very much on the beat. So it's that driving rock and roll theme to it, which was. In 1968, when this came out, of course, all the psychedelia stuff had been going on, and the Beatles had been going down the psychedelic road as well. And this certainly marked a return to some more of their roots, some more of their rock and roll roots. So it's a good song, fun song to sing and play, and I hope you have fun with it. As always, the song sheet is available on demand, and if you have a look through this, we will do a performance version of it for play-along purposes, and that'll come out later in the week. We'll also be doing our comic song, as usual, our Friday Foolishness, and something else to make you groan, I suspect. But apart from that, that's it from us.
It is, yep.
This time. Okay, you'll note how long Pam's hair is growing. She hasn't had it cut for a year. And it's now getting quite...
I'll be able to sit on it soon.
It's all fluffy because she just washed it. But anyway, enough of that. That's all from us for today. So we'll see you soon, we hope. But until we do, you know what to do. Stay safe, be kind to yourselves, take care of each other. So goodbye from Pam.
Bye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.